A 21-year-old former student at Indiana University accused of rape, but prosecutors agreed to drop those charges against him after he pled to a misdemeanor battery. He served 1 day in jail, 1 year probation. I'm back with Lisa, Bradford, Beth, and Yodit. In the 2015 case, they found his DNA on the victim, but apparently they couldn't use it as evidence, as his defense attorney explains here.
Yes, Mr. Enoch's DNA was found on the young lady, but so were 2 other men. There were 3 men. Their DNA was found on the young lady, not just John Enoch's. And in the surveillance video of the fraternity, there are images of the young lady and John going in and out of a room. But when they leave the room, 3 minutes later, she is seen embracing another young man at the end of the hall.
Lisa, I'm not quite sure this really creates the doubt that Yodit was talking about. Does it for you?
Yeah, listen, I was assuming worst case scenario that DNA from another man means you had sex with him. Of course, it doesn't mean that. In the course of a day, I hug someone, I give someone a kiss on the cheek, I might have their DNA on me, which he didn't say what part of the body we're talking about. It doesn't mean that I had sex with them. And even if I did have consensual sex, it doesn't mean I can't be raped. So the whole thing is ridiculous. You know, guess what? Let me just say something about rape victims, because I represent them every day. I spent all weekend working on 2 rape cases. Rape victims don't behave like other victims of crime. They're not perfect people. They might hug someone afterwards. They might do a cartwheel. They might act strangely. They might act happy. They might act sad. They might not report it. They might recant. That's what we know. That's what the empirical data is about rape. And I'm sick and tired of all of the excuses for people not prosecuting rape cases, not taking it seriously, and putting out these myths about rape victims.
But Brad, I hear you groaning.
That's
because, you know, listen, first of all, to say that it was DNA from a kiss, come on, it's enough already. The fact is that they didn't have the evidence in the case to lump this kid in with other guys that got convicted of rape, that got 6 months. People love, in America, people love the headline. And the headline is, fraternity, rape, drunk kid gets 1 day in jail. That's what the headline is. And it's not fair to this kid, because I'll be honest with you, the evidence was not there. It was not only not there, it was contradicting evidence. It was exculpatory evidence. It wasn't like, okay, there's something not there. Maybe we're missing something. There was actual evidence that proved that he was not guilty. Okay, so it's very dangerous to go down this road when you got a fraternity and drunk people.
Well, the fraternities and drunk people, a whole other issue I'd love to address, but I want to drill in on this one a little bit. And Yodit, I still don't, you're going to have to make explicit to me why DNA of 3 men creates reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt of what? Reasonable doubt that she said no to the 3rd guy? Why is that reasonable doubt?
But Dr. Drew, why are you confused? I think we all kind of covered the DNA, and I wasn't saying that the DNA alone would convince a jury not to convict, but that on top of everything else, you have a lead investigator that hid evidence from the court that was favorable to the defense. That is a problem. And to say that prosecutors don't care, Lisa, we just had prosecutors care enough to prosecute Brock Turner and get a conviction. They couldn't even get the punishment that they wanted. To say that this is the situation here, that prosecutors did not care, because guess what? Those prosecutors believed those accusers. Just because they didn't take their case to a jury doesn't mean they didn't believe those accusers. They didn't have an airtight case that they wanted to risk losing and having this kid.
So I don't hear any response on the DNA issue.
I don't either. I still don't get it. Well, Lisa, I'll let Lisa explain to me what. Well, but no, Yodit, you seem to understand what you're saying. I'm naive. Yodit, Lisa, hang on. Lisa, what are they saying? They're saying this woman is fill in the blank because she had 3 men's DNA on her. Why is that doubt?
I would like to do something that you rarely see me do on this show. I would like to throw the ball to another guest, and that is Beth Karras, because I know that she's very knowledgeable about DNA and what it means to have DNA on a person's body.
So hold on. No, so Beth, what is it?
Too.
I understand. So what is? I need to make this explicit. I'm sorry, but just because 3 men DNA were on her does not mean she didn't say no to the 3rd guy.
Right.
Why is that reasonable doubt, Beth?
That's right. That's right. But the DNA alone isn't the case. They have evidence contrary to what she's saying, that maybe she did consent. Consent is often a defense in a rape case. And these are different kinds of cases, because usually sex happens with just 2 people. So it's a he said, she said, and you look for corroborating evidence to support an accuser who says, I didn't consent, or the opposite. They just didn't have enough proof here. I do believe that the prosecution wanted to believe, and probably did believe, these accusers. I think that the DNA just isn't all they were hanging their hat on. I mean, they didn't have enough evidence independent of the DNA to show that it was forced.
Well, they had enough to get him to plead.
Thank you,
This
Beth.
happens all the time. And in my old office, they would, in Manhattan DA's office, they couldn't prosecute a lot of rape cases they believed in because they just didn't have the proof.
All right.
Proof beyond a reasonable doubt is a high burden at trial.
That's true.
All right, we've got to leave it there. Next up, a family says it is